He said, "Ma, I'm sorry and I love you. I love your daughter. I'll never do it again." 4 days later, he killed my baby.
God forgive me for saying this. I wish he would have turned the daggone gun on himself. I'm sorry to say. We won't see her anymore. Not anymore. He didn't deserve to go like that. He didn't deserve it.
Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Carlton, and in this episode, we're going to discuss the demise of Sharita Cristwell. Sharita was 29 years old, and she met her demise at the hands of her ex-boyfriend. And we're going to talk because there's a lot of lessons to learn in this story, and I hope you can stay to the end so you could avoid all the pitfalls that you see in this story. Sharita was in a relationship with a man called Harry Lindsay, and they were together for about 10 years. And in those 10 years, they had two daughters. And Sharita's family said that the relationship was filled with infidelity and abuse. In early 2025, Sharita decided she had enough because Harry cheated on her multiple times, he was abusive to her, and she felt that the relationship was not good for her. So she broke up with Harry and she started a new relationship. And this is the first lesson in this case. So ladies, listen to this. If you're in a relationship and you break up with the man that you're with, and especially if that man was abusive to you in that relationship, do not jump into another relationship as soon as you leave the first one. Now, it's a good practice regardless, whether for men or for women. When you end a relationship, you should take some time to yourself, heal a little bit, chill, find yourself before jumping into another relationship, because a lot of us, including myself, have done it where we hop relationships from one into the next, from that one into the next one, and we do it from time and time again. And for ladies, it's very dangerous, especially if your past relationship was abusive. You should always take time, just chill for like a year or so before you decide to jump into another relationship. Now, it's your right. You can jump into a relationship anytime you want. All I'm saying is that it's very dangerous when you just leave an abusive relationship. But this is exactly what Sharita did. She left Harry because the relationship was not good on any level, and she moved on with someone else. And guess what happened? Because I know you know exactly where this is going. Harry started to stalk Sharita and make threats to her on her life. And also, he made threats on the life of her new boyfriend. One day, Sharita was hanging out at her boyfriend's house when she got a text from Harry. And that text had a picture in it. And that picture showed her car in the driveway of her boyfriend's home. That means Harry, her ex-boyfriend, was stalking her. What he was telling her is that he knows where she is, he knows what she's doing, and he's threatening her life and her boyfriend's life by sending her that picture. And guess what happens next? Harry went to Sharita's house to make good on those threats, and he assaulted her. He beat her up and put his hands around her neck and tried to take away her life. She survived that day because he didn't go all the way. She called the police. They came and they saw her battered and bruised. They arrested Harry, and Sharita thought her nightmare was over. She didn't know that the nightmare had just begun. Harry was taken to jail, and the prosecutors said that they want him held without bond because they say that the act of choking someone is indicative of someone who's trying to take somebody's life. Harry's lawyer suggested that Harry be given an ankle bracelet so they can track where he is and so that he can be released on bond. The judge foolishly went ahead and released Harry on bond with an ankle bracelet, and that was a fatal mistake. And 4 days later, Harry went ahead and took Sharita's life. And this is one of the reasons why, as victims, you can never trust the justice system. You can't trust the cops to protect you. You can't trust judges to protect you. You can't trust lawyers to protect you. There's no one to protect you but yourself. The only time that the cops take any of these things seriously is when someone is murdered. When someone gets beaten up and assaulted, the cops don't really care about that. As soon as someone is murdered, you see lines of cars and everyone comes around because now somebody's life has been taken. But leading up to that, there's so many things that people could have done to stop this tragedy. And there's so many things that Sharita could have done herself. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Sharita. We're going to talk about her family. We're going to talk about the cops and how everyone in the chain just failed. You know, sometimes I wonder, how do defense lawyers feel when they know that someone has actually murdered someone or assaulted someone and they use everything in their power to get that person released? And I know they say, oh, that's their job, but don't they have any moral standards? You know, they know the statistics because that's their job. They work in that field. They know there's a high likelihood that this guy is going to go ahead and once he's released, he's going to go ahead and take this lady out. Yet still, they advocate to get this guy released so he can go and do the exact thing that he wanted to do. Don't these defense lawyers, don't they have any conscience? Don't they have any daughters? Don't they have any humanity? Is everything about them about money and winning? Like, what have they actually won when the victim is dead? I don't think they actually care. I don't think a lot of defense lawyers, I don't think they have a heart. It's just a stone inside their chest. If I was a defense lawyer, I could never defend someone who I know in my heart is guilty of either assaulting someone or guilty of making threats towards someone. I can't support someone like that. If I go to court and defend this person and that person get out of jail and go ahead and kills the victim, how could I live with myself? How could I wake up in the morning and look at my own daughter? How is that even possible? How are these people even human? I digress. When Harry was released from jail, he immediately called Sharita's mother to express his love for her. He apologized, and Sharita's mother asked him, why did he assault her daughter? And he said he was sorry, and he said he wouldn't do it again. Now let me tell you what should have been happening. Sharita should have gone in hiding. Her mother and her family should have been doing everything to give her the resources so she could basically disappear. Because Harry's behavior and the threats he was making were very serious. So Sharita and her family should have taken that very seriously. Because remember, Sharita is not the first woman who has been taken out by her husband, boyfriend, or ex-boyfriend. This happens on a daily basis. So they know when you hear somebody make a threat to you, you got to take it seriously. But everyone always thinks that it won't happen to them. And that's the biggest mistake a lot of victims make, thinking it won't happen to them. And the day of Sharita's murder, she actually went to Harry's apartment. Do you believe that? A man who tried to kill her, a man who beat her up, she went to his apartment. Now, we don't know why she went. He could have said something to convince her to come, or she could have been going there to pick up clothing. She could have been going there for whatever reason. But let me tell you something. Ladies, if a man ever threatens you, never be in the same place with him alone. Never do that. Because a lot of these men are very manipulative, and they will try to get you alone, and they will do everything to keep you trapped. And when they realize they can't trap you anymore, they're going to go ahead and take your life. Because they think that if they can't have you, then nobody can. Sharita foolishly went to Harry's apartment. Why the hell would she do that? That's what she did. Because he had an ankle monitor, so he couldn't go anywhere without the courts being notified. Somehow, he convinced her to come to him. She went over there, and that's how she lost her life. So Sharita, she made a number of mistakes, and those mistakes has now caused her to not be here with us anymore. Ultimately, her passing was not her fault because everything that Sharita did was within her rights to do. And a lot of people, they don't ever think someone is going to go to the end to take them out of this world. People who are not capable of that, they can't phantom someone doing that, even after they see it happen to so many people. And what baffles me is that women see other women being victims of assault and of murder. And they go ahead and do the same thing that those past victims did. And that's very striking. Like, we need to learn from each other, learn the red flags. And when those red flags come up, the first thing you need to do is run. And if you can't run at that moment, find an exit strategy and execute it as soon as possible, because you want to be around to see your kids grow up. You want to see them graduate. You want to see them get married. And you want to enjoy your own life. You want to go to the movies. You want to have new relationships. You want to find somebody that have some actual sense. But Sharita, she never had a chance to fully live her life because she died at the age of 29. 29 is very, very young. And even if you're 65, nobody should have the right to take you out of this world. Nobody. You should be able to live and die naturally. And this murderer, Harry Lindsay, this guy, I hope he gets the death penalty. I hope he suffers every day that he's alive. And you see that Harry, he's probably going to get life in jail, probably. I've seen so many cases. I'm watching cases every day. And I see so many guys, they get 25 years. And in 25 years, they're out of jail. And they get to start a new life with a new family and have kids and do everything. And the victim is gone and nobody remembers the victim. Besides their very close loved ones, nobody remembers them. And the person who did the deed gets to live life and see the sunshine again. Life is not fair. Justice is not real justice. And that's why I tell you, if you're a woman, you need to protect yourself. You need to look for the red flags. So Harry was charged with first-degree and second-degree murder. And he's now being held without bond. See what I told you? Now that the victim is dead, now they want to hold him without bond. When the victim was at risk for being killed, they released him. And I've seen this many, many times happen. The law does not protect victims. They don't. Until you die, and then there's no protecting, you're already gone. But when you die, then they want to show up and they want to do something. But if you get beat up and assaulted and you're scared for your life, there's nowhere to go. And especially if you don't have the resources, you don't have money, you don't have support, you're in major trouble. Major trouble. And if you're in that position, call the domestic violence hotline and get some help. Hope that you have good family and good friends that can help support you, hide you. Because Sharita did not deserve for her life to be ended at the age of 29. She had two beautiful daughters, and now those kids are not going to grow up with a mother or a father. And that is real tragic. So let's talk about some of the things that Sharita's mother said after Sharita was killed. Sharita's mother, Jerry Smart, said, "He killed my baby. I don't get to see her anymore." She also said, "I can't believe that he did this to the mother of his kids."
Good afternoon. My name is Jerice McCarter. I'm Sharita Cristwell biological mom. He said, "Ma, I want to talk to you about something." I said, "Okay, I'm a listen." He said, "I love your daughter." And I said, "If you love my daughter, why would you put your hands on my daughter?" I said, "That was the wrong thing to do." He said, "What do I need to do?" I said, "I'm going to tell you, don't ever put your hands on my daughter again, or we're going to have a problem." He said, "Ma, I'm sorry, and I love you. I love your daughter. I'll never do it again." 4 days later, he killed my baby. I can't believe he did this to the mother of his kids. 10 years. Now my 2 grandbabies don't have a mother or a father. Anybody that ever tell a woman that they love them, or I really mean it, they say things that they think we want to hear. But when he tell you he's going to kill you, you need to get away. He's not going to say it just to say it. He's saying it because he mean it. It's too many women out here losing their lives over domestic violence, and it's not fair. You took her life. You get to go to jail and be free. I'll never get her back. Never get her back. Domestic violence is very serious. And people need to acknowledge this. When somebody tell you this, I don't care how afraid you are, you need to report it. I can't believe he did this. He told me he would never, ever hurt my daughter. And he did it. This feeling, this pain that I have, it will never go away. I have to deal with this for the rest of my life. And my grandkids, they cry every day.
So let me tell you what Sharita's sister Kim said after she was murdered. She said, never feel ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Find someone to talk to. Find your resources. There's plenty of resources out there. The sister Kim also advised against giving abusers chances and believing in their manipulations. She said, don't give them chances and don't believe anything that they're going to tell you because they're going to manipulate you. She said, do what you think is best for yourself. And that, my friends, is a very important lesson right there. Think about yourself. Think about your kids. Don't worry about that relationship.
Sharita Cristwell was my little sister. My mother, Joyce Cristwell, adopted Sharita Cristwell. She raised her until she got an adult. And I watched her grow from a child. I never thought that I would be here to say anything about domestic violence. I am happy that my sister got a chance to experience love. Even though it wasn't with him, she got a chance to know what real love was. She did try to get away, but it was not in time. It was too late. Please find a way to get away. God forgive me for saying this. I wish he would have turned the daggone gun on himself. I'm sorry to say. We won't see her anymore. Not anymore. He didn't deserve to go like that. He didn't deserve it.
And ladies, listen to this. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Anytime someone has made threats to you, verbally, it doesn't have to be physical, because I'm telling you, it's going to get physical. Once they tell you that they're going to harm you, you need to get away from that person. I don't care if it's your husband, your boyfriend, your ex, your cousin, your mother, your father, your daughter, your son. It doesn't matter who it is. Anyone that make threats to you should be enemy number one. And you need to get away from that person. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next video.